Hello, my dear friend. I'm Dr. Evelyn, 60 years old, currently living and working in Florida. For over 30 years, I've been accompanying patients at the age when the body begins to change, when we no longer run as fast, sleep as deeply as we did when we were young, and begin to feel that every heartbeat, every breath, becomes worth thinking about a little more. And I've realized one thing, one very true thing after thousands of conversations and listening sessions. What we fear the most is not death. We fear losing the ability to live life on our own terms. Fearing one day we won't be able to get out of bed on our own. Fearing one day we'll open our mouth but no words will come out. Fearing one day we'll know exactly what we want to say but can't find the words. Fearing our own body will no longer obey us. Fearing being trapped inside our own shell. And of all the illnesses I've encountered, stroke is what forces people into that state the fastest, the most silently, and the most tragically. No warning, no time to prepare, no chance to say goodbye. Just one moment, a flash, a second of silence, and life shifts direction permanently with no turning back. Today I'm not here to frighten you. I am here to tell stories. Because a story, when told correctly, can save a life. It helps us recognize the most crucial distinction, the subtle difference between ordinary fatigue and a dangerous signal. I will tell you 5 true stories from my clinic, not stories from a textbook, not mere common illustrations, but stories I witnessed, where I touched the patient's hand, heard the cries of loved ones, and saw the miracles that occurred when people recognized the sign just a few minutes earlier. After these stories, I will show you a simple rule that anyone can remember, a rule called Be Fast, but the way I teach it will be very different, more relatable and memorable, because I will tie it to the exact situations you might encounter in daily life, while drinking coffee, driving, or talking with your children and grandchildren. And after that, we will talk about prevention, not with lofty philosophies, but with very small, very practical actions. Things you can do starting with dinner tonight, with sleep tonight, with the way you gently check in with yourself. If you are watching this video because you care about your health, I invite you to sit back for a moment, slow your breathing, and open your heart. If you are watching because of someone you love, someone you want to protect, then you are doing something very beautiful. Inhale gently. Exhale slowly. Let's begin. Story 1. Jessica, 32 years old, 4 days postpartum. I want to start with the story of a very young person, because many still think stroke is only a disease of the elderly. That is a deadly mistake. Jessica was only 32 years old. She had just given birth, a beautiful baby girl, only 4 days old. She was perfectly healthy, with no history of serious medical conditions. That morning, while holding her baby, Jessica felt unusually dizzy, accompanied by a heavy feeling at the back of her head that she had never experienced. She tried to stand up, but her legs wouldn't obey, as if they no longer belonged to her body. She couldn't coordinate her steps. When she tried to call her husband for help, her words fractured into unclear sounds, as if someone was squeezing her voice, turning the sound into meaningless mumbles. Her husband instantly realized what was happening. He didn't wait. He didn't ask questions. He didn't Google it. He remembered a short video about facial drooping, slurred speech. He scooped her into the car and drove straight to the hospital, only 10 minutes. And those very 10 golden minutes preserved Jessica's ability to speak, walk, hold her baby, and call her daughter's name. The clot-busting drug, TPA, was administered in time, and just minutes later, she spoke again, her voice still shaky. She could hold her baby. She could cry. She could continue being a mother. Why do young people have strokes? Jessica's case was likely due to blood clots from postpartum issues or carotid dissection, a tear in the artery wall. This is a common cause in young people and is often completely unrelated to lifestyle. The urgent lesson: stroke has no age limit. Time is brain. 10 minutes made the difference in preventing the death of millions of brain cells. Early recognition equals saving an entire future and keeping a family whole. 2. Story 2. Hugo, 62 years old. The man carrying his whole family. Hugo was a successful lawyer, a strong, confident man who always wanted to take care of everything himself. He had huge financial pressure, credit card debt, and working until 2 to 3 a.m. was routine. He knew he had high blood pressure. He knew he had high diabetes readings, but he told me, "I'll deal with it later, doctor. Right now, I have to work. My family depends on me." He postponed taking his medication and checking his blood pressure. Stroke doesn't happen on one bad day. It is the result of years of postponing self-care. One night at 2 a.m., while staring at his computer screen, a thunderclap headache struck. It wasn't like a normal headache. It ripped from the inside out, from the back of his neck to the top of his head. This is a classic sign of a subarachnoid hemorrhage. He barely managed to grab the phone and call his sister, a nurse, before collapsing. When he woke up, 10 days had passed. He was in the ICU, his head shaved, a breathing tube in his neck. He couldn't speak. He couldn't move his right arm. And what made him cry? It wasn't the physical pain. It was the fact that he couldn't sign his own name. Losing his signature, losing his identity, losing his ability to work. Deeper analysis. The danger of delay. Patients like Hugo often suffer hemorrhagic strokes due to uncontrolled hypertension. The thunderclap headache is a code red alarm. The profound lesson: stroke doesn't just take life, it takes your self. Health is not something to deal with later. Self-care is the foundation, not a luxury choice. 3. Story 3. Regina, 58 years old. The sign that appeared and vanished. Regina was at a family party. In the middle of laughing happily, she felt slight numbness on one side of her face. Her lips slightly drooped. The wine glass in her hand almost slipped. Someone said, "Let's wait and see. Maybe you're tired. Drink some water." On the way to the hospital, the symptoms disappeared completely. Everyone sighed in relief. The family was about to turn the car around and go home, but the attending doctor, an experienced one, said, "Do not turn back." The doctor diagnosed it as a TIA, transient ischemic attack. A TIA is the most serious warning before a major stroke. It's like a minor tremor signaling an imminent earthquake. If symptoms appear and then vanish, it's not over. It means the brain is screaming for help and temporarily managed to dislodge a small clot. Had Regina ignored it, the probability of her suffering a severe stroke in the next 90 days would have been extremely high, up to 10 to 15%. She received timely treatment with antiplatelet medication. She can still talk to her grandchildren, call her children's names, and cook dinner. The core lesson: transient signs are not false alarms. If you or a loved one shows any F.A.S.T signs, even if they disappear after 30 seconds, you must still go to the emergency room. Hour 4. Story 4. Linda, 71 years old. Let her sleep for a bit. Linda was an older woman living a peaceful life. After dinner, she felt slightly confused and unusually sleepy compared to other days. She tried to talk about the food, but called objects by the wrong names. The family looked at each other and thought, she must be tired. She was active today. Let her sleep it off the next morning. She lost the ability to move half of her body. The confusion had progressed to paralysis. Deeper analysis. Why must you not let them sleep? During sleep, blood pressure tends to drop. If a blood clot is already forming, the drop in blood pressure makes it easier for that clot to fully block a vessel. Furthermore, sleep makes us miss the 4.5-hour golden window to administer clot-busting medication. The life and death lesson. If a normal person suddenly becomes confused, drowsy, or exhibits unexplainable behavioral changes, never let them sleep. Call emergency services immediately, because there are some sleeps that you don't wake up from as yourself. 5. Story 5. Marcus, 45 years old, healthy but complacent. Marcus was the picture of health. He played tennis every week. No alcohol, no smoking, strict diet. Once, while playing sports, he lost vision in one eye for about 30 seconds. Then vision returned to normal. He thought, I must have sweat in my eye, or maybe I'm too tired. He completely ignored it. 2 months later, a real stroke due to a large blood clot. Not because he was weak, but because he ignored the first signal his body sent. Strokes in young, healthy people often come without warning, and the earliest sign is very often a visual change, temporary blindness in one eye, or sudden blurring. The final lesson. External health is no guarantee of internal health. Never trade 30 seconds of doubt for the clarity of the rest of your life. Now, the life-saving rule. Be fast. I will not read the letters like a boring textbook. I will make you remember with images and feelings. This is the rule you must teach your entire family. Balance. If you are standing normally and suddenly lose balance, as if the ground is tilting or you can't coordinate your steps. Eyes. If your vision suddenly blurs, you lose sight in one eye or you have double vision not due to all-day fatigue. Face. Kuon mat. If the left or right side of the mouth droops when smiling, talking, or the cheek sags. Arm. Ask the person to raise both arms to the sky and hold them. If one arm drifts down or cannot be held up. Speech. If the speech is slurred, like sticky candy, or they misuse simple words even though they are fully conscious. Time. On. Immediately call emergency services 911/999. Do not wait. Do not check if it gets better. Only one sign in F.A.S.T is needed. Act immediately. Why? Every minute that passes, 1.9 million brain cells die. Every 10 minutes of delay, a permanent part of your life can be lost. Golden window. We only have 4.5 hours to effectively administer clot-busting medication. A 1-hour delay can mean losing the ability to speak for life. Prevention. Gentle, practical, not forceful. We don't need to live like Olympic athletes. We just need to live more kindly to ourselves. Control the numbers. Blood pressure. Check your blood pressure every 2 to 3 days at the same time, not just during doctor visits. High blood pressure is the #1 silent killer. Moderate movement. Walk 10 to 20 minutes every day. No need for strenuous exercise. Gentle movement helps blood vessels become more elastic. Mindful care. Learn to eat slowly, giving your brain time to recognize satiety and reducing the burden on your digestive system and blood sugar. Sleep is medicine. Try to sleep before 11 p.m. if possible. Deep sleep is the time when the body cleanses waste products in the brain, the glymphatic system. And most importantly, do not suffer alone. Share financial burdens, work stress, or personal pressure with someone you trust. Chronic stress increases cortisol, driving blood pressure high. The body never betrays you. It just speaks a very subtle language. We only need to learn how to listen. My dear friend, if you've watched this far, it means you care about yourself, about those around you, and about the quality of life in the future. And that is truly beautiful. I don't expect you to remember every sentence, every detail. I only hope you remember this feeling. When your body changes unusually, do not ignore it. When a loved one speaks strangely, walks strangely, or looks strangely, do not wait. Remember, we cannot control time, but we can control how we react to it. And sometimes, 10 minutes of timely action can give back the rest of a lifetime. If this video resonated with you, please leave a comment. I will listen to my body. I will read every comment. I will accompany you on this journey. I am Dr. Evelyn. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you again. In a body that is gentler, lighter, and more loved.